in the left corner, weighing in at 51 total grams of weight, we have the Jeffree Star Morphe Collab Artistry palette. And it's going head to head against the right corner, weighing in at just 36 total grams of weight, we have the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. And today, folks, we will finally get our answer once and for all. Can you save some money and get that same Jeffree Star quality? Or is it worth spending that hard-earned dough on that iconic JS formula? What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexandra, and please take a second to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out on any more fun videos like this one. And we do also have a couple of giveaways going on, so make sure you check those videos out when we get finished with this one. So as you guys saw from the intro and title, we are taking the Jeffree Star Morphe Collab Artistry palette and putting it head to head against the Jeffree Jawbreaker palette and answering the question that we've all been wanting to know: is it worth it to spend the money on the Jawbreaker palette, or can you get that same JS quality and save a little money and just get the Morphe palette? So I'm getting ready to give you guys the full breakdown, try on, and review. So let's start out with the Jawbreaker palette, since that one released first, so you guys know what the packaging looks like. And it is $58. This does have 24 pans in it and a total of 36 grams of product. I'll show you guys what it looks like right there. Of course, you guys know it has a mirror, and I'm actually gonna put a picture of it up right here. So when you break this palette right here down, it basically breaks down to 1.5 grams of product in each pan, and basically $1.61 per gram of product. Okay, now compared to other Jeffree Star palettes, this is actually really good. This was actually his best priced palette to date prior to this Morphe palette coming out. Because if you take a look at previous Jeffree Star palettes, for instance, Blue Blood and Blood Sugar, you're paying $52 for 18 pans, and it basically breaks down to $1.93 per gram of product. Now, I will say Jeffree Star has always been absolutely amazing with his pricing, because if you compare his palettes to other high-end palettes, for instance, Anastasia Beverly Hills, that only has 14 pans in it, and you're basically paying, are you guys ready for this? $4.05 per gram of product. How insane is that? Now, let's take a look at the Jeffree Star Morphe Collab palette. So with this one, as you guys know, it is $35. You can now use a Jeffree Star JS Star code, get 10% off. So that brings this palette down to $31.50. So when we do the math on this, this has more product in it. So it's 51 total grams of weight. Okay, so that's 1.7 grams per pan. So that's the thing. This has 30 pans in it. So this has 24. This has 1.5 grams per pan. This has 1.7 grams per pan. So only 0.2 grams of product more per pan, right? Okay, but this breaks down to 62 cents per gram of product. Now, it does, of course, have a mirror in it, and as you guys can see, that is the glorious, beautiful palette right here. Now, I will say both of these palettes do have eyeshadows and pressed pigments, but this one does have a pressed glitter in it, whereas the Jawbreaker doesn't. So you are getting a little extra something in this Morphe palette that previous Jeffree Star palettes really don't have. So let's go ahead and take a look and compare sizes here. So when you put them bottom up right up against one another, as you can see, the Morphe palette is a little bit taller. The Jawbreaker palette is just a little bit longer. So this one's taller, that one's longer. Now, when you lay them on a table right next to each other, the Jawbreaker palette is actually a little bit wider, but when you actually open the palettes up and lay them like this on the table, this palette is actually the same exact width is that palette. Now, if you actually lay them out and compare them side by side to one another, it actually looks like these pans are a little bit bigger, but it's not actually true. As I said, these pans right here have 0.2 grams more of product in them than these pans. It's really just perception because these are built a little wider and those ones are built a little shorter, just deeper. Now, because I'm sure by now everybody has seen swatches of both, I'm not really going to swatch the entire palette of both palettes, but I will swatch a couple of my favorite colors. So starting with the Jawbreaker palette, I'm going to start with the color Jawbreaker, Snack, Orange Juice, and Cotton Candy. And then for a matte, we are going to go with the F word. You guys know what it is. So these are absolutely, and I'm just saying, very, very pigmented, very, very beautiful colors. Let's do just a couple more mattes here, just so you guys can see. I mean, they're beautiful. This palette's beautiful. His formula is amazing. You guys know this. Now, comparing these swatches to a few of the shimmers on the Morphe palette, we are going to swatch two Dog Mom Girl and let's see, Designer Label. So as you guys can see, I mean, very, very similar when it comes to the swatches. Absolutely beautiful. It's got that Jeffree Star shine and glitz and all of that. When we do some of the mattes here, we got Self-Made and Pink Fleet. And let's see, Boss Angeles. Now, same thing, these mattes as they swatch, they just are absolutely gorgeous, very pigmented, very, very smooth. I mean, just beautiful swatches on both palettes. But the big question is, do they apply the same? Let's find out. To kick it off, we're going to be applying the Air Altier Eye Primer, and I'm going to be doing this before both palettes just to keep things nice and fair. And of course, since the Jawbreaker palette released first, we're going to be starting with that one. So I'm going to be using the Alamar blending brush, and the first color I'm dipping into is Good Morning. Now this is a really light pink, so I'm not really applying this for pigment, but more just for setting my base. But as you can see, even as light of a pink as that is, it still shows up really well, which ought to show you guys how awesome this formula truly is. Next, I'm gonna use that same Alamar brush and get into Bubblegum. Now this color is a really bright pink and super pigmented. So I'm just using a really light hand and applying this on and above my crease, mainly because I'm trying to create the same look with both palettes. Then of course, I'm gonna blend those edges out really well to create a nice soft pink effect. Next, we're grabbing my Sigma E25 and we're gonna get into the color Snack. Now, I truly love this brush for shimmers, and so we're taking Snack all over the lid and blending it up into the crease, and since I want a little more of that light pink and Snack to come through, I'm gonna really pack this on and do this process a couple of times on each lid. Now, because the pink that I'm going to be using in the Morphe palette has a little bit of an orange undertone to it, I'm going to grab one of those OMFG brushes and dip into FUCK. That's right, folks, we're spelling it out. We keep it PG around here. Then I'm going to be blending that into the crease and outer corners and up into the bubble gum. And I really love those OMFG sprinkle brushes because they grab onto that pigment and disperse it really, really well, as you guys can see right here. And then we're going back to my E25 again and making sure that crease line is really, really blended along with my outer corners. You guys know how that is. Blend, blend, blend. Then I'm using my finger, and I'm sorry, it's my middle one, and I'm just packing Jawbreaker onto my center lid to give this look that pop and halo effect that we all know and love. And that's one thing that I really love about the Jeffree Star formula. They lay really nicely on top of each other, so you're not forced to cut your crease if you don't want to. Next, I'm grabbing my Morphe M321 pencil brush and applying Jawbreaker to my brow bones, as well as using it to underline my brow, which also helps blend out any harsh edges that may be left behind. This is a little trick that I've been doing lately, and it works really well. I'm also obviously using this on my inner corners. Then of course I'm curling my lashes and using the Hank & Henry mascara in Clout. And oh my God, if you all have not tried this mascara yet, you do not know what you are missing, truly. Like, go get it right now. This is the final look, so let's do it again with the Morphe palette. Okay, same thing, using the Air Altier eye primer to keep things nice and fair. Plus, I actually love this primer because it smooths everything out, therefore giving you a nice, even blend. Again, to keep it even, we're starting with the Alamar brush and we're applying the color My. Now this color is just a tiny bit deeper than the one from the previous palette, but it's still a very light pink, and as you can see, just the same as the last palette, very, very pigmented. Still using that same brush, we're going into Honest Truth. Now this is that pink that has a tiny bit of an orange undertone to it, but it's very pretty. And it's going to save us a step later on. So we're going to use that to deepen up that crease. Next, we're using that E25 again and dipping it in the color 2, like, welcome back to my channel. And since we're trying to do the same look, we are just packing that all over the lid and blending it into the crease. Has anyone else noticed that I haven't really smiled throughout the entire portion of this video? And then back to that middle finger again, you know, because we gotta keep it in the spirit of being even and all that. But this time we are in the color Welcome. Back again to that Morphe M321 and using Welcome to highlight both of my inner corners. And again, I cannot stress how awesome this brush is for this very task. And keeping in sync, we're also using it to highlight my brow bone and under my brows, as well as blending those edges one final time. Lastly, we are curling those lashes. I know everyone keeps asking me where I got that at, so I'm going to link it down below for you guys. And then again, we're using the Hank & Henry in Clout to keep everything nice and fair. And then voila, finished look. All right, you guys, so it's time for some final thoughts and to answer our big question. Now, the one thing I do want to say is I have owned a ton of Morphe palettes in the past. I love Morphe palettes. They have amazing quality, a majority of them. There are some that's been a miss, but a majority of them, their quality is amazing. Now, this Jawbreaker palette is the first ever Jeffree Star formulated palette that I have ever purchased, and I truly love it. I've enjoyed every second of having it. As I've told you guys, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or MUA, it is just amazing. The pigmentation is amazing, the blendability is amazing, the quality is amazing. I mean, you can pack on and get that just bam pigment, or you can go a little light-handed as we did in this video. Now with this Morphe palette, I will say this is very different. The formula itself is definitely different. It is not like the other Morphe palettes. This is way, way better. I think this is probably one of the best Morphe palettes I have used to date, and I am not saying that lightly, you guys. So Jeffree Star definitely put his hand and foot in this formula. He definitely wanted something different. So to answer the question, I will say that if you want a Jeffree Star spin on a palette and you want that quality and that amazing pigment and everything else, I would definitely go with the Morphe palette. You will save some money, and it's, as I said, it's not that normal Morphe formula. It's a little better. It definitely has a Jeffree Star kind of swag to it. Now, I will say for me, myself personally, after owning a Jeffree Star formulated palette though, I'm like, I think knowing both of them, I would probably go with the Jawbreaker palette. But then again, we are going into fall, and I feel like the Morphe palette has got a little more fall colors and is a little more fitting going into the fall and winter. So for me personally, you guys, I'm a penny pincher. You guys know I am. So I think I might go with the Morphe to save the money because, again, you're going to get that quality, but the Jeffree Star is truly amazing. I mean, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tough toss-up, you guys. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you have not subscribed yet, please make sure you do so and check out some other videos. I'm going to put some right here, one of which we do have a giveaway in. I love you guys so, so very much, and I have a ton of stuff coming up for you guys. And until next time, see ya!